computer. All right. Welcome, each and every one of you, to another thrilling Wow Wednesday call. We're going to share things about the AO scanner, the 660 band, the Cephis, the supplements, the inner illuminator, everything you see pictured on this disclaimer. I'm going to go ahead and go through the disclaimer. I'm Tammy Ward, too, by the way, and Dr. Sheila Day is also on the call with us, and we're going to kind of host this call and share some exciting things. But before I do that, let me read the disclaimer. The AO technology is not a medical device. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. If you are sick, please consult with your healthcare provider. So again, we're going to share anything and everything about the AO scanner, the red light therapy, which is the 660 band that you see in this upper corner. The inner illuminator is also our red light therapy. Any of the supplements, the Cephis, or the scanner itself. So I'm going to just open it up and let anybody that would like to share.
I
Go for it, Sherry. Sorry. Go ahead and unmute. I think I muted you by accident.
last night, of course, being 4th of July, my dog has always had issues with fireworks and thunderstorms and things like that. And I had put together a program that Alice sent me that was fear of storms. And I thought, well, that should work for fear of fireworks too. And so I turned it on and he laid down and just went right to sleep. And up until that point in time, he was just right by my side and didn't want me being in a different room or anything like that. And so it was really neat to be able to help him with calming down. So, wow, these are amazing.
That is awesome. Thank you.
Hmm?
I know my little my Pearly, she's extremely terrified of thunderstorms. Well, she's also terrified of fireworks, we found out. And I had made a firework list up a couple days ago and posted it in the group, and that's the one I used last night, and she didn't have any issues. So we did have somebody that was right behind us that I guess put off those, they almost sound like cannons going off. Now those kind of flipped her out. There was like 4 or 5 of those right in a row, and she just crawled up my head in the bed. And I'd
Oh,
already had the Cephis running, so those were a little, I think, beyond. I told Scott, I said, those sound like professional fireworks.
mhm. Well, what's especially hard is we're right across the lot from where they set off our city's fireworks. And so it was very noisy and he did great. So,
Nice.
yeah,
Very good. Good. Thank you for sharing.
you're welcome.
Awesome.
That makes me very happy. I know Bear. And
Yes,
for such a big dog, he is a fraidy cat.
Oh,
he is. Yes,
So
he
I'm
is.
happy he was calm. That makes me happy.
yeah.
And I have
I, I,
testimonies when you're done, Sherry. Go ahead.
that's okay. I have a big shout out to give to Alice because when she lived in our town, she was my naturopathic doctor, and she and her husband moved to Points West, and that made me sad. But whenever she signed up with Solex, it made me happy. I'm supposed to have a reverse shoulder replacement tomorrow, and I've been having problems with a couple of things. One being tape. Um, it it sets my skin to rashes and things like that. And so she's been working with me, trying to find programs that will help with that allergy. and get that taken care of, as well as helping with, the PTSD of doing surgery and things like that. And so I'm very grateful for my friend Alice, as well as our wonderful Cephii programs, because she's even told me she's going to set an alarm and get up early in the morning and get the program started for me, so that I will not have issues. So I would also covet all of you if you would be interested in running programs for me for that during surgery. It's going to be around between 9 and 10 for a couple of hours. And so if anybody wants to do that, I would be happy to share that information.
I have a little group, just to let you know, that we do that sort of thing for people when they're, going for surgery, or anything like that. It's kind of like an emergency group where people, like when Jen LaFave's mom went into the hospital and she nearly died 4 times because of COVID. We ran Cephies on her 24/7. Between me, Nadia, and several other of us, we just kept running different Cephies and building playlists for her. And lo and behold, about 4 months into that, she was able. They said she would never come out of the hospital because they ventilated her 3 or 4 times. She died that many times, and they said that she would not make out. And we firmly believe it was because we were all playing Cephies for her. So just to let you know, it is just a little small group for that. It's a little chat group, but it's called Sacred Hands and Feet Ministry. That's my ministry. And anybody can come into that chat and say, hey, I need Cephies run because I'm going into surgery, or I'm really sick, or something's going on and I don't know how to help myself. But if you guys can, and we do that for people. So
Is
we
that
just do
in
that out of love.
Messenger or on Facebook?
It's I have it on Facebook as a group, but I also have a chat. I'll add you to it if you want
Oh,
to be
thank you.
added,
Thank
and we
you.
can add your information. So it's just something we do for everybody.
I appreciate it.
And that actually came as a, just to let you know, that came as a recommendation from Lauren himself. He said, you guys could be a very powerful force if you all got together and ran Cephies on her mom. And that's how we came to start that little chat group, is to be able to help more people that way. So we did that because of what Lauren said. So okay, someone's asking in the let me make sure I've got everything. Go ahead. Anybody else got any any other testimonials as I let people in?
I do. I've
Go
had
for it.
just a beautiful week of testimonies. I'm working with several people with the Cephi playlists, and they are far flung across the US. One is here in the resort with me, and I've worked with her with the naturopath consult and with craniosacral therapy, and we made some headway, just minute headway. She's a very unique case. The doctors are scratching their heads for 40 years. They can't put a diagnosis on her because she has symptoms, but nothing fits, because there'll be the key factor will be missing. She has symptoms that are similar to multiple sclerosis, similar to cerebral palsy, similar to all these neuromuscular, things, but the key factors aren't there. Her muscles are not withering. She's strengthening her muscles, and she is determined. She's been wheelchair bound for 40 years, and she is determined to get out of that chair. Now, she does stand and walk, but very jerky, no control over her muscles. And after we did craniosacral therapy, she was able to, the first time, clap her hands. And she was so ecstatic that she was able to have control enough to be able to clap her hands. Well, that was a year and a half ago. I started the Cephi on her 2 weeks ago, and she has been able to stand at her kitchen sink and make her tea. So reaching to one cabinet on one side, reaching to another cabinet on the other side, getting the things together, the cup, the water, everything together to make her tea, standing straight, not having to sit in a wheelchair, or she uses a desk chair and rolls, from cabinet to cabinet. And she also told me yesterday that she was able, so her routine in the morning in the bathroom, she has to stand against the sink and lean her head to the mirror to try and brush her teeth and wash her face. She said for the first time, she's been able to stand up straight and do that and not fall backwards and not fall over. And she is just beaming because this is just the freedom that she's been looking for. And it's just been the Cephi. That's all well, I take that back. I have been running the body systems and the vitals on her. I did those once at the beginning, once a week is basically what I'm doing those. She's just beyond ecstatic and so happy. So that was number one. Number two is my gal in Alabama, who has been doing parasite cleanse for years, and they always gave her extreme anxiety when she would do those. And we were running Cephis and many things we've done over the last 2 months, 3 months since I got the Cephi or the AO scan. But she said her chiropractor, her and her husband walked into the chiropractor's office today, and he saw a notable difference in their demeanor, in their ability to hold adjustments. He said they were like new people. And she felt that way because she's had no anxiety. And her husband also has just calmed down and not been in this constant turmoil that they have lived with for 15 years. She said it's just amazing. So,
Wow. That's awesome, Alice. Thank you.
absolutely.
Wow.
Miracles. I call it miraculous. There's just no other word for it.
And we do. We have such a miraculous tool in our hands if we just offer it to people.
Yes,
Um, and that's the thing. I mean, we can help so many, and maybe if it doesn't help right away, they're still gonna. I think they'll still feel some effects of it later. They may look back and go, "Wow, I think that really did help me."
absolutely. And that's, she's been kind of hide and watch. They have two dogs, and we did the fireworks thing for the dogs, and they got up this morning, the dogs did, and were just as chipper as ever, like nothing had happened, and that has never happened.
Yeah.
And these dogs are 12 and 14 years old. So
Wow.
beautiful testimonies all the way around for them.
Absolutely. All right. Anybody else like to share anything? Okay, I'll share one. My daughter-in-law and my son, my older son, they have a little dog well, it's not a little dog, it's a pretty big dog. It is a pit and terrier mix. And she's so extremely hyper, to the point where she's nipped at the grandbabies a few times. And Skylar finally said, "This is enough. We need to rehome the dog. We can't keep the dog." And Mariah and I were speaking on, we were chatting on Saturday family night, and she was just saying, I can't find somebody to take Ray. And I said, "Well, you might need to change your wording in your post, this, that, and the other." And then she messaged me the next day and asked me if I would scan Ray and do Cephis on her. And I thought, well, I will, as long as you firmly believe that this is going to help her and transition this dog, because this dog's got such a hyper personality that when the kids try to do something with it, it snaps at the kids. And it bit Maddie's face one time. And I told Skylar and Mariah both, I said, that happens again, you may not have a child when this is done. Because she's part pit and she's a terrier, but she was very traumatized. They had found her in a ditch. Mariah actually found her in a ditch about 3 years ago. And they've had, or maybe it's only been 2 years, but they've had her this long. But now they've kind of come to that point where they think they're just going to have to rehome her. And I said, you know what? I have an amazing tool. If you guys would just be committed to make her listen to her tones every day, but you've got to message me and ask me to scan the dog every day, because that lets me know that you're actually got skin in the game. So she has been. Well, she messaged me today, this morning, and she goes, Mom, she goes, I just have to give you an update on Ray. Now, we've just been doing this now for 3, 4 days. And she says Ray is actually more calm. She's sleeping when she listens to her tones, and she wakes up a much gentler dog. And I went, I told you, 3 or 4 days. I mean, I said, I know this will work. You just got to work with the dog. And we've got to provide her with some things to help her release some of these energies. And so just these 3 or 4 days doing this, we're getting such a positive response. And with animals, there's no placebo effect. So I just absolutely love our tool, and just the ability to help animals is just kind of a telltale sign for even the humans that have a hard time believing. So I'm hoping that soon that both Mariah and Skylar will come around. I mean, they're always asking me, hey, Mom, will you scan me? But they're not real committed to it. And I want them to be committed to it. Anyway,
I have one in that regard.
go ahead.
Well, before I go, would it be improper for me to ask Dr. Sheila to tell us where she is? What is, I maybe I've missed that, but are you like on your own property? Did you go for a walk? What are we looking at here?
We can't hear you, Dr. Sheila.
Sorry, this is my backyard. I do not like
Oh
to be
my, that's your
inside this.
backyard?
Yes.
Oh
I'm
my.
outside all summer.
Do you have room for us over there? Can we have
I do.
We need to meet up at Dr. Sheila's house.
That would be so
Absolutely.
fun.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to hijack the discussion. Thank you.
Go ahead, Dr. Darrell. That's great.
So I have a dog. Well, we have 4 dogs in my house, but my personal dog is she's a Maltipoo. She's really, really small. She's not even 7 pounds. If she gets fat, she's 7 pounds. Like, like on a, but for the most part, when we go to the vet, she weighs in at under 7 pounds. And I don't know what happened to her. She has been experiencing trauma since I got her. And whenever there is loud noise, in particular loud noise, she shakes and convulses on a level that's unnerving. She pants, she breathes real hard, she tries to run and hide, she doesn't even know what to do with herself. And so since I've had her for about 5 years, and so whenever there's the 4th of July, when New Year's Eve, these are just traumatizing days for both of us. I try to do things like put the fan on as loud as I can. I try to do everything that I can do in order to shield her from that. And nothing really works. But I had that fireworks playlist last night, and I made her the target of one and one of the other dogs that has a similar issue. And I ran it all night long, and I couldn't shield her from the noise because where I'm at now, you could just hear it very, very loudly. And she did get afraid. She jumped down. She walked in a couple of circles. I ended up putting her in her crate. And we both just went to bed. And she wasn't very comfortable. She was still a little nervous, but every other time this has happened, she would be thrashing around in that crate. Like I'd have to go get her out of there for fear that she's going to hurt herself. And she just was uncomfortable. And I woke up at around midnight or so when it was all over with, and I got her out of the crate and I took her outside to pee, and then we just hopped up in the bed. This has never happened before. What happened last night. It has never happened before on a 4th of July or New Year's Eve. And the only thing that's different is that playlist. That's it. There's no other way to. I didn't even try CBD or anything like this time, like that. This time it was only that playlist that was being used.
That's awesome. That's what we did with the dogs last night too. Is that normally we have to give them or give Pearly CBD. We didn't last night. I just played that Seffi playlist and she was just fine. So other than those big booms, those big sonic booms,
Yeah.
just gotta.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like when she would hear that, she would have a normal dog reaction, like, what was that? And it would scare her. But there have been times that I thought she was gonna like go into convulsions or something because she was literally losing her mind. That didn't happen once last night.
Woo! Yay! That is great news. Great news.
That is, those poor dogs. I mean, it's so hard on them. Oh, I have to listen to ours locally where they're just going off, and I feel terrible for them.
You know who I really feel terrible for? And I spent most of my life not even thinking about this, but last year someone pointed out to me, right behind my house is a huge area where the deer roam, and they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have anywhere to hide. They don't know anything about a holiday. They just know that all of a sudden chaos is happening. A war. They live in a war zone for about 12 hours. That's all they.
Sometimes a week.
Yeah. And not to mention even our war veterans that go through the PTSD of all these booms. I think, having a playlist for them for these times is just going to be amazing too, because it can kind of help mitigate some of those, those emotions and those feelings that they obviously go through. So keep them in mind too.
Absolutely.
Anybody else like to share something fantastic?
Well, I'm in the middle of it. So this time I
You did
took a
poison
picture.
ivy again.
I did. I'm
Oh my
almost done
goodness.
clearing out my tree line. But this time I did take a picture and I ran a 2-minute broadcast and it's gone down quite a bit. And I went ahead and imprinted a Seffi dot and put it on there. We'll see what it looks like in the morning. But
Do
it's
you
not itching
have
anymore.
do you have two accounts where you can do them back to back like we learned last week?
No, I don't. I need to find somebody to an
Yeah.
account with.
Yeah.
But I had pretty good results last time. By morning they were already dried up. So
Nice.
and the swelling's already gone down considerably just in a couple hours. That's
Beautiful.
powerful.
It is powerful. It is powerful. Thank you for sharing.
I have another one to share.
Go for it.
For whatever, I have been a redhead my whole life, even though it's gray now. So fair skin and things like that. I've never been able to use essential oils on my skin without breaking out. And with this surgery coming up, one of the gifts that COVID gave me was DVTs in my legs. And so I've been on blood thinners for the last 3 years. And through that experience, I've had issues with blood clots in my lungs and things like that. I had to go to a cardiologist to get cleared for this surgery, and he recommended and wanted to put in filter in my inferior vena cava to catch any potential blood clots that could happen. Long story short, something happened. It's only supposed to stay in for a maximum of 10 weeks. And this week is week 9. And so next week I've got to, right after, back to back practically, have the filter removed. But one of the things that is concerning is that there's already built up scar tissue that's there. And so it's a possibility that they won't be able to remove it. Well, we have a scar tissue formula of essential oils that I thought of that I could start applying, except for the fact that, it makes my skin break out. Mm-hmm. And so in talking to Alice, she told me about a post that she had seen by in the official group by another woman named Alice, who gave the instructions for putting together this particular blend of oils into a playlist, creating all of that. And I imprinted a dot with it, as well as have been running the program on myself daily. And for the last 4 days, I've been able to use that oil on my stomach area where that filter is. And it is not causing me any issues as far as breaking out or anything like that. So I am so amazed and so stoked by that. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
I love testimonials like that. That is amazing.
That really is. I've seen her break out just so easily, and that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Any others? I can share one from my grandson. Over, I guess it was Saturday. They had been at a swimming pool all morning because of a birthday, and then that evening they came to the house, and we had our family night. And before they left, both Samuel and Maddie are like, my back hurts. Well, I guess their backs didn't get any sunscreen, and they were just, I mean, the reddest of all reds. And you could feel the heat coming off of their sunburns. And so I quickly did some homeopathic with them, and then I made a playlist, and of course I shared that sunburn playlist, and I started broadcasting. I put Samuel and Maddie in a picture together and put them in spaces and objects, and then started broadcasting that to both of them. Once I broadcasted it for Samuel for about 30 minutes because his was a little bit more intense. And I mean, he was so hysterically crying that I just thought for sure he'd wake up the next day with blisters. That's how bad the sunburn was. But so I went ahead and put them both in the spaces and objects and broadcasted that to them together. And Mariah called me or I messaged her, and she said they're both fine this morning. No, their redness is all gone. And I went, really? No blisters? She goes, no blisters. And I went, thank goodness. So that to me was just simply amazing.
That blows my mind.
Yeah. We've got such a great tool.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I talked about it last week, but my glam pups, one of the pit bulls, was having some digestive issues and throwing up and just acting really awful. And my son had called the vet, and they told him to go get some Zyrtec. Is it Zyrtec? No, it's not Zyrtec.
Okay.
What's the one for the stomach?
Oh,
I can't remember now.
Yeah.
It was a drug. And my son's like, I really don't want to do that. And I'm like, well, just let me scan her and see what I find. And so I built a playlist, and I just continual broadcasted it. And by the next morning, and she was throwing up her food. She had lost her appetite. She was eating grass, and it was really bad. And by morning, the next morning, he said she ate her food okay. She wasn't, it was like she wasn't heaving anymore. She wasn't throwing up anymore. And that has continued. So I don't know what was going on, or if it was a random thing, or if the frequencies really did help her, but she hasn't had any issues. And we were pretty sure she was going to have to go to the vet.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Save it from a vet trip, because that can be expensive.
I know. And it's an hour drive.
Oh yeah. Much better.
A question, please.
Yeah.
Tammy, when you did what you did, and you used spaces and objects, can you walk us through that? Did you take pictures of them, merge it together? Is that what you did?
Yeah.
And then
I've got a picture of them in one bed together, and I actually put them in the spaces and objects like that.
For who?
For Pearly and Sunshine together.
No, but whose profile did you put the spaces and objects under?
Oh, for the kids? Put it under their mom.
Okay. Okay. I'm asking that because I'm trying to get more, I'm trying to make that more of a go-to. Like,
Sure,
you know,
sure.
everything, now that I'm deeper into it and my brain is expanding, I'm realizing just more to do. Um, I had somebody I have someone who has gout, and her foot was really swelling up, and the gout there's a Cephi for gout, and specifically, and that has been working on her really, really good. And she sent a picture of her foot, and I took her foot, or that picture, and I put it in spaces and objects under her.
Yep.
And instead of sending gout to her body, we sent it to her foot, specifically under her profile. I don't know how it went. I'm waiting on the answer to that. But that triggered that in my brain when you said that, because I realized that, you know, just when we first start, we're not even using it that much. We're not using it for nearly as powerful as it is. And so I'm just trying to just see how other people do things. That's all.
Yep. And that it was beautiful to even ask, because a lot of people don't know. So yes, as long as you're intentional with it, you just want to make sure you, I mean, I put them under Mariah's thing, but if Skylar were to call me and say, hey, kids are throwing up and doing this, I'd probably put it under his profile too, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and done it, you
Because
know, with whoever called me.
the way I look at spaces and objects, if the person whose profile it is understands that,
Yeah.
then it's their intention that redirects that. That's the way that I'm looking
Absolutely.
at that. You know,
Absolutely.
it wouldn't make much sense if you put it under somebody that they didn't know.
Correct.
And if I know you by Tammy, but somebody else knows you by a completely different name, then your name would be different in either profile, and it would both go to you, because the connection is what it is
Correct.
to you. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Let me not go
You,
off on a tangent, but thank you for
you
answering
got
that.
it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I have a question kind of
Sure.
on this topic, but Alice had posted something. Alice Jerhayan. I don't know how you pronounce her last name.
Jahane. I've heard her
Okay,
say Jahane.
I'm just gonna say Jay.
Yeah.
She had posted something in her group about adding supplements into the therapies, and I asked her why she did that instead of putting them in supplements. And I don't quite understand her answer. Do you?
She did what now?
She was telling people how to scan in supplements into therapies. And I asked her, I said, why are you putting them in therapies instead of supplements? And I didn't understand her answer.
I believe she was saying that so that you could use them in the playlists and actually broadcast the frequency of the supplement. It
So
had
you
to do
can't
with that aspect.
you can't do that if you add them in the supplement library?
No, we can,
No.
you can scan for them, but you can't imprint them on anything or use them as a frequency in themselves.
But you can if it's a therapy?
I believe so, under objects and therapies, right?
Okay. I'm losing you there. Explain that again one more time. She's doing what now?
So she puts the supplement into a therapy and then does that therapy name as an object under her profile.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you go into the Cephi playlist, you make a playlist with that name and you put health, only health in the playlist, and it will play the frequency of that supplement as a playlist so that you can imprint things with the supplement frequency and broadcast that frequency.
Okay,
That's
I'm
how
gonna have to go look at her post because
Yep.
I'm not
It-
connecting that.
It was very unique the way she did that.
My brain's just not grasping
Yeah,
it.
it's not
Yep.
grasping either for me. So I'll go back and I'll watch it, because I know if I'm a visual and I have to see what it
Mhm.
is that she's doing.
Yeah.
So if I can go back and look, she put that in the main group.
There's no video of it, but yeah, it's in the main group. That's who I used to get the information so that I could put this group of oils in to
Right.
be able to help me with essential oils. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to go and
Yeah, it's a quantum jump. It was
yeah,
a little bit like watching Quantum Leap. When I was reading it, I had to read it 3 or 4 times, and then
Me too.
I had to actually edit it so that I could fill in the gaps because her communication style isn't it it was leaving holes in my mind. So it's a unique hack.
it's a thought process that she's yeah. I
Yes,
totally get, and I would believe that it probably is very effective, especially coming from her, because she, homeopaths, we think in different, very different ways for sure.
absolutely. And Sherry's testimony that it does work.
Yeah,
I believe
that's
it.
a
I just would like to understand it.
yeah, yeah. I'm in the same boat. I have to go and watch it, so I'll or go and read it, and then I think I'll understand it. Anybody else like to share anything? You can just unmute yourself if you've come in and you're new. Just unmute yourself and share anything you'd like to on the testimonials. That is
Go ahead and share in the chat what I gleaned from Alice's post, okay?
okay. Perfect.
Let's say it's too long. I'll have to do it in segments.
Okay, let me make sure there's nothing in the chat. All right. Anybody else like to share anything? It can be pretty much on any of the supplements, the 660, the inner illuminator, um, anything like that.
I have another one if nobody else does.
Sure.
So anybody who has seen any of my posts might know that I've been utilizing sound therapy for a really long time.
Mhm.
And after my conversation with Lauren, when he let me know that the frequencies of sound that come out of the Cephis are the frequency of the homeopathic that's there, it freed me up to do what I wanted to do all along, which is in some cases sound, hearing the sound and the frequency is strong. It's just very strong for people. And so I had a client that had just gotten back from overseas, and he was very nauseous and he had a lot going on. And so he told me what he had going on, and I did an easy scan on him, and I saw that there was some stuff happening in the large intestines. And I put together a playlist based off of the organs that did not rebalance, after being optimized. The meridians, the chakras, and then things that I would normally do for gut health or upset stomach, whatever, his symptoms.
Yeah.
And I saved that playlist, and then I played it for 10 minutes, but I recorded it. Gets technical. I know everybody can't do it, but I just did a screen recording of it,
Yeah.
converted it over to an MP3, and I uploaded. I use Practice Better, so I uploaded it into my portal for him. And his assignment was to listen to this. Now, of course, I did broadcast it during that 10 minutes,
Mhm.
but his assignment was to listen to it. He didn't get it until the next morning because he was just up all night with a stomach ache, not knowing that he had help in the portal. But he said within 1 minute of putting it on with headphones, because I told him to use headphones, he started feeling better and it didn't come back. So that was very cool to me. And it was my first time actually doing that, where I took that and did that with a client. My plan is to do that regularly, but he was my first experiment and he was dealing with some things. And so that was just a great for me. So for me, that's just a huge testimony because nothing else was working. But when he listened to those frequencies, it balanced him out right away.
Wow. I have to say something to you, Dr. Darrell. Whenever we first got our scanners, we didn't know any different. So we always had the volume pretty much up, even when we were scanning, when we were optimizing, when we were sending Cephis to people. So when I had my schedule when I was scanning like 2 or 3 people before I went to work, 2 people at lunchtime, and then when I got home after I did dinner and everything, then I was probably scanning probably 3 or 4 more people until about 10 o'clock at night. And I would sit in my office and do that. And, it was constantly going. I mean, you could hear every bit of that. And even Piggy Britches, whenever she was alive, she always made sure that she came into the office. She loved the frequencies. Well, then we got told you don't have to hear them because it's inaudible. But you know what? Scott will even listen to the Cephis. He says he feels a lot more coming from it when he actually listens to the Cephis. I, there must be something to it. So even
Yeah,
though,
and they're right. You don't have to because it's going to you. It's being broadcasted to you.
yeah,
It's not necessary. But for me, it allows it from, and this is just me, it allows me to give it to a client and they will now have that to do 3 and 4 times a day. I no longer have to go back in there and broadcast it. Once I do
right,
it that first 10 or 15 minutes, they have taken the responsibility of listening to it. And though it's not broadcasting, the frequency is still the frequency, and the eardrum is redistributing it through the body, and it's doing the exact same thing. So yeah, you don't actually have to, but from my perspective, it does make it a little bit stronger if you listen to it. But these aren't cool sounds, so
yeah,
they're not
no, they're
good
not.
to listen to. I took his highest and lowest tone and also put that in there,
Cool.
from the
Quick
inner
scan.
voice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, inner
So
voice.
I
Yeah,
put those in there. That makes it a little bit better because
yeah,
it's not just the harsh tones. There's some music going on there.
yeah,
But that makes me not have to keep broadcasting. It's
yeah,
now their responsibility.
yeah. Great suggestion. I love it. I'm not techie enough to figure out how to record it and send it to somebody.
Me
Yeah,
neither. I'm just going, whoa.
Anybody else like to share anything?
Oh, hi, it's Maria. I just wonder if I can ask a question, please.
Sure.
Um, Regarding the Illuminator and the 660 band, if someone's got pain, which one do I refer them onto? Is it
Either one, really.
either one?
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't need to purchase both or anything. So,
No, when I will tell you when the Illuminator, before the Illuminator came out, when we were at Day of Discovery, there was a couple of people that had the prototype for it, and Lauren actually came over and he said this is such an amazing tool for pain. You can actually run your Illuminator on painful areas and it will actually make that pain go away. And it does. It really does. I've had like pain. My knee has been in a lot of pain. If I've been out walking somewhere for a very long time, I'll do the Illuminator on my knee, and sure enough, it will make the pain subside. So, but this 660 band is amazing at that too, especially with headaches, with joint pain. I know Scott was using it the other day on his knuckle. His knuckle had a big huge inflamed area of like arthritis, and he just was holding the 660 band up to it, and he said after just a little bit the pain went away. So
oh, wonderful. Now, my other question, I did put it in a chat group on Facebook, it wasn't answered. I was actually really impressed with Lauren's well, it's actually on the Solex YouTube channel. Lauren was talking about the Illuminator and how that came into being with the Solex company. And he was saying that actually, originally it was for a personal hand scanner for checking breast health.
breast. Yep.
And yeah, he said he was going to, there'll be more information coming about that. And I've had a look everywhere and I can't find it. I just wonder if you can direct me to some information about that, please.
He actually shared that at Day of Discovery as well, and he said the way you do that is you got to be in a dark room, with very limited light. I mean, it doesn't have to be pitch black, but a very dark room in front of a mirror. And when you're using that on the breast, you'll be able to see if there's any lumps or whatnot in the breast.
Yeah, he said that actually in the video, but he said there was going to be some information coming out regarding.
We don't have any yet. Yeah.
about the strength to use.
Yeah, he hasn't. I've not seen any of that information yet.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Anybody else have anything?
Tammy,
Yeah, go ahead.
can anybody post that in the chat, Lauren's description on the illuminator? I haven't seen it in YouTube or wherever he posted it at. I'd love to watch that video.
Yeah,
I'll
if
find it
Maria,
now
if
for
you
you if
have
you
it,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll get it now.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Maria.
Anybody else? Got a few more
Okay,
minutes.
I'll start again, but
Okay.
I'm trying to differentiate between the 660 and the illuminator. Can somebody give me the dummy down version of it?
The illuminator is still just your it's the 605, I think, light. Do you remember right off the top of your head, Sheila?
Illuminators, the 660 red light, the 660 band has the 605 amber.
605, yes. So it's mainly 660 where our 660 band has both. Does that help?
Why do we need both?
If you can do a Google search on 605 and see the benefits, and it's even in the back office when you look at the 660 band, it explains the benefits of 605, but you
Yeah.
can do some Google searching and get quite a bit of information. It's very rarely used, but it's very powerful.
Yeah.
We're one of the only ones that have that combination.
Yeah, that's true.
So with our 30% discount that we get, that would be a good opportunity to buy the illuminator or the 660 if we didn't have it.
Yeah. And the illuminator you can also use on your eyes where I don't know that you can use the 660 on your band. I mean on your eyes. You use it with a tube and you can shine it in on that tube on your eyes.
And why do you need to use the inner tube or the paper towel or the toilet paper tube? Why do
Because
you need to use that?
It's got to be 12 inches away. And there's a bunch of I've also put that article in our group, our QLA group, so as a support, so you can look at and read why you want that as a distance.
Thank you.
You're
And the
welcome.
illuminator is also really great for face care, skin care,
Yep.
reversing aging. Using bright. I love using bright and using the illuminator on top of that. It's just really powerful because it helps to drive those nutrients deeper into the skin. And the 660, I think, is just so freaking handy. I wear mine on the way to the gym and on the way home for cardiovascular support, and inflammation support and pain support. And I mean, if I have a pain, like if my ankle's acting up, I just throw it on my ankle instead of grabbing the illuminator. It's just easier to put the 660 on there. So I have both. I think everybody should have both.
Yep. I do too. I don't think there's a product that Solex has that I don't have.
Same. I can't wait to see what's coming.
I know. We're gonna, I mean, we are literally gonna be blown away at Day of Discovery. So just be prepared.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
I mean, Lauren's just biting at the bit to tell us stuff.
I know.
And Shelby's smacking him every time. So
it's gonna be exciting. I just can't even imagine.
Yeah, it will be exciting. All right, guys, a few more minutes. We have anything else we want to share?
Well, we got about 2 more months before we can hear, right?
Right.
Countdown.
Well, yeah, but we've
countdown.
got big excitement coming tonight, he said.
Yeah, we do. So everybody be on the call too, right after this.
I have rearranged my life to be able to be on these calls.
Me too. I'm like, nope, Wednesday nights are out. Sorry. I know Dr. Sheila's in the same boat. It's like we're always on those calls. And that's what I tell my team members. You need to be on the calls.
Yep.
You just go to Yvonne, you just go to YouTube and you find Solex and they will have a premiere playing. So you'll just go in there and you'll wait for it. If you'll subscribe to their channel, you'll get the link for it. I mean, there's really not a link. You just go to their channel.
Yeah, it's not like this. It's not a Zoom
Yeah,
call. It's a
it's not a live Zoom.
live video.
Yeah. They're all pre-recorded, but they typically record them the day of, so you'll know.
It will change your business, whether you're using this as a business to help people and or financial freedom, whichever or both. But being committed to that and setting the example for your teams is powerful. I will never miss one unless I just cannot get there.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Darrell. He put the link in there for you. So subscribe to their channel. That way you can get notifications 30 minutes prior to them going online with the premiere.
Hi, this is Jacqueline.
Go for it.
Hi. Has
Hi.
anyone had an issue? I can't on my desktop. It will not search for the other people in my group, only me. I haven't been able to pull up my clients on my desktop.
How do you
And
mean?
I've cleared my keys.
Oh,
cache, or whatever you call
okay.
it.
When you're running your scanner on your
On my
laptop.
desktop, Alexa, stop. Yeah, I was doing my 660 while I was talking to you all. So I had Alexa telling me when the next 10 minutes was.
Do you have an Apple or is it a regular HP?
HP. I have an HP.
I don't know, Dr. Jacqueline.
Okay.
You may need to call Solex customer service and see if they can help you figure that out.
Okay. Thank you.
Because I'm not sure. Sorry. I know that
Okay.
probably
Since
wasn't
we're
much help.
going away from the devices, are they yet selling the big tablet?
The tablet's still on the back office, and the tablet there's no problems with. Just FYI.
Okay.
It's mainly problems with the handheld, and there's sanctions in the handheld that they can't get past.
I don't know how much longer this sale will go on, but I picked up a Lenovo Yoga for
Yeah.
$224 at the Lenovo.com.
Oh, nice. You know, I have to share something. I asked Lauren if our thermography computer laid flat. Sheila?
That is great.
So
Yep.
it lays flat.
Yay.
It may not twist all the way back, but it does lay flat.
Yes.
Thank
gonna need
you,
that soon.
Alice, for sharing that.
You're welcome. I think today might be the last day. It's their Black Friday in
Oh.
July sale, and it's like 75% off.
Oh, nice. So yeah, jump in there if you can afford to swing about $225. That'd be a great product to have. All right, guys. Got maybe a minute left. Anybody have anything they'd like to share or last thoughts? Oh, Hurley, you can't keep scratching at the door. In and out, in and out.
Really quickly, I have, if I don't have anything to share, but just a request for Tammy or Dr. Sheila. At some point, could you talk to us about thermography, or if you already have, point me to that video, because I have one more course, and then that'll be available to me, but I don't know what else it actually means. And I can't really find a lot of information, and I don't know what needs to be purchased and really how all of that works. So it would be cool if you could talk about that one day.
Absolutely. Love to. I have to get my practice pictures in still yet.
Yep. Daryl, it's not available for purchase in the back office yet. You do have to call customer support.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't even know, like what I'm saying is I don't even know what I would be purchasing.
Oh,
like,
well, it's
or what I would do, what are the benefits of it? I just like a bunch of different information, because
yeah.
I just know the theory right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we can even discuss that on our call tomorrow night.
And don't you have something? You have a guide on that, don't you, Tammy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
There's
do have a guide,
for the thermography.
and I have an amazing guide that another person in our company put together, so I can definitely share that.
Oh,
Thermographies
awesome.
are awesome for practitioners. It's my
Absolutely.
goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we need more people offering thermography. People are looking for it. It's not available enough, and people travel ridiculous distances, and they don't want invasive
Yeah.
radiographs anymore.
Yep. Very true.
At the wellness center that I work at, somebody comes in once a month for what's the other
Yeah,
alternative
mobile.
to that?
Ultrasound.
Yes. And I know it's not quite the same thing, but they see people every 15 minutes and they are booked solid the entire day.
Yep.
Just the entire day. There are no openings.
You can take that over.
Yep.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
It's very profitable.
Carol, I had somebody ask me, so wouldn't thermography just for women? Why would I want to have that? And I'm like, you can do thermography on a man's prostate.
Yep.
You're going to see when it's hot, and if it's hot, it's inflamed.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it is a full body. I don't know if this is accurate. So maybe Tammy or Sheila, you can answer. I said it's kind of like a PET, what traditional medicine calls a PET scan. A lot of cancer patients go in for PET scans to find hot spots.
Yep.
I'm thinking, well, if a PET scan's going for a hot spot, what's my thermography doing?
Yeah.
It's looking for heat and cold senses. So
Right.
Yeah, and it's not just for cancer detection. It's for everything under the sun, from cardiovascular issues to chronic pain issues that nobody can find an answer for, brain issues. We're doing a lot of brain scanning.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I hate to cut it short. It is 7:30, so we need
Thank
to
you.
jump off and get to our Solex call. Thank you, each and everyone, for being here. We'll see you next week. Invite your
Bye.
interested ones.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.